Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Monday's December 12th edition of premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for the most important hour of the day, the first hour. Well, Dennis, we got a little pop last night. We were able to take out yesterday's high by almost a point, and then a sell-off. Let me guess, it's Europe-related.
Everything's always Europe-related, Joel. It seems like our markets just follow whatever happens over there. If you look this morning, we've got a number of European banks trading down significantly, some as much as 7%. So that's your driver again today. As Europe goes, we go, and we're down 12 points because of it.
Okay, I'm looking for some action this week, Dennis. We only had roughly a 44-point range in the S&Ps last week, and many times we do that in a day. So we're winding up for something here. We got to help our traders figure it out. So far, the Globex high stands at 1254.50. If that stands as the high of the day, we have a downside target of 1226.75, which take us 4 points from yesterday's the weekly low. So far, just hovering above that Globex high there, 1239.25. Don't have a number there, Dennis, so there's absolutely no way that can hold as the low of the day. But if it does by some chance, we have an upside target at 1267. Right now, in order to turn things around, we need to get above the mid-range on the day, 1247, in order to test the close. Dennis, 3-point range in Apple on Friday. What's going on?
Getting tighter. Stock is tightening up here, Joel. It is trading down $1.60 today. Obviously Friday, it's winding up here, Joel. It's hard to figure it out. Like, I keep thinking, may make a break to test that 400, but who knows? It's definitely tightening up and looking to break one way or another here, though.
Yeah, I'm thinking below this 391.03, which was Friday's low. I think this is really going to take some steam out of the stock. We made some lower highs going on through the week. So use the close as good resistance, 93.62. And if we take out that 391.03 level, look out below. Moving on to our next component, our big oil component, actually trading down 76 cents. That's a pretty big move for ExxonMobil overnight. Made a new high on Friday for the week, 81.86, closed at 81.34. Tight range, is that as well, Dennis. 80.34 was the low, so $1.25. Below that 80.34, we're going to test that weekly low at 79.55. And I imagine if you get anywhere near that close, 81.34, you're going to run into some pretty good resistance.
Yeah, and then you'll run into more resistance at the high from Friday, 81.75, and then $82 has been a big seller up there. So getting above that close, you're going to levels too, so expect some resistance up in that area. I'll limit my comments any further, though, just because I do have a trading position in ExxonMobil.
Okay, itsy bitsy machinery tested that 195 level again, Dennis. I guess 10,000 shares can put a halt to a rally in IBM. The all-time high 194.90. Friday we got up to 194.87 with a close of 194.56. So stiff resistance from this 194.50 up to this 195 even. Coming back on the downside. We are just been making some higher lows here. I think as long as we stay above this 191.07, we're still good to test that all-time high.
Yeah, that 195 area, remember we were talking about a major seller up there, and that's why I think you've topped out up at 194.87, 194.90 the last couple of days. So expect that resistance to still be up there for whatever reason we went into rally mode.
Okay, Mr. Softy did make a new high for the week here at 25.87 on Friday. Currently having the stock trade down 8 cents. Dennis, this 25.80 to 87 level is starting to remind me of the 27.40 to 50 level, where it just kept banging its head against it. It couldn't break through and finally broke down. Tight ranges in that the whole week too. But I'm looking for a move below 25.50 to short this thing, and then you got to be shorting it up at that 25.85 level. Just doesn't seem to want to go through there.
There's definitely somebody that's, selling some stock off in that area, because within 3, 4, 5, even the last couple of weeks, it just seems like you hit up that area and it just can't get through there for whatever reason. Like, you don't see anything, but, somebody's sifting out some stock there for sure. So until it can get above that 26 area, I think you're right, Joe. I think you got to be a high seller in the high 25s.
Okay, Chevron Corporation closed up near the high of the day, made a high at 104.80, made a high at 104.50 and settling at 104 and a quarter. Starting to give back some here in the pre-market. Still hovering above Friday's low here, 102.71. I think you need to be hands off on this thing. If you do break through this 102.71, you have some real estate down to Thursday's low at 101.95. But the major support comes in at the 8-day low at 100.11.
And the chart's starting to look toppy to me here too, Joel. I know that once we get above 105, there's been sellers for the last, all year really, with the 110 areas where we really talked about major selling pressure, but you're finding sellers all above 105, so I wouldn't be surprised this 105 area, tends to hold here again. We've bounced up there from, the low 102.71 there on Friday, so, closing at 104 and a quarter, I'd expect resistance from that 104 and a quarter all the way to 105. And if for whatever reason we can rally, $100 would still be a psychological support level, but that's $3.50 away from here. I'd be scared to buy it before that, though.
Okay, Johnson & Johnson, this thing's just consolidating, but trying to sneak up and test that 65 seller. It just seems that we get repelled every time it gets up there. The weekly high is 64.81. You obviously have the HFT guys stepping in ahead of that. The Friday's high at 64.68 as well as the close should be real good resistance. Coming down, we did have a tight range in that thing. We had a low at 63.98. So 64 even to 64.50. Let's call that the early range in Johnson & Johnson. Below that $64 level, you have a double bottom from Tuesday and Wednesday at 63.26 to 63.37.
Yeah, we always talk about setups, and this is just one of those plays like Johnson & Johnson can rally into the high 64s. There's sellers all over the place. You got a major seller at 65. You got some more at 64.90. So those high frequency guys love to lean on those sellers, love to lean on that size, love to lean on those technical levels. So expect some high frequency resistance in the high 64s. So if you're looking for a play, if there's all going to be sellers up there, then you may be able to try a short in the 64.80s. I know that's how I would probably play this today. So, for whatever reason we could rally up there, you'd expect resistance. So that's where I'm always talking about. Don't swing at every pitch. Wait for your setups. And if this stock for whatever reason gets up there, then you take a swing at it and you see how it goes. It gets above 65, you know where your out is. So it's always good to know where your out is.
Okay, Procter & Gamble did sneak above that 65 level again yesterday, got up to 65.17. Major resistance stands at the weekly high at 65.50. Coming back on the downside here, we are trading down just a bit, so that close is going to be mild resistance. If you're shorting it there, you might have to take some heat up to Friday's high. Coming back on the downside, you have Friday's low at 64.60, with the weekly low and the 6-day low right below that. So just like the market, Dennis, this Procter & Gamble is winding up for something.
Yeah, it's definitely winding up, Joel. We've just had sellers all over the 65s on this too, but I am going to limit my comments. I do have a trading position in Procter & Gamble.
Okay. Real tight range in AT&T on Friday, 28.81 to 29.10. This thing is winding itself into a tizzy as well. Keep a real close eye on this 28.80 level of all the stocks in the Big Ten. This one is trading the close to its weekly lows. So 28.80 is the number to play if you want to try and buy it there. The first time you probably get a small bounce, but this thing goes through 28.80, Dennis, and I'm looking to test the 28.28 level.
Opens right up there, Joel. You're right. If it can break through that, there's not much down there until you get, until I see there. If you're looking to fill that gap there that we had back in late November from 28.28 up to 28.50. So there's a gap in there. And I'd expect resistance to be all the way from the close 29.03. And then if you start getting above there, it just thickens up. There's been sellers here in the last couple of weeks from 29. 5. So even if you were to get above the close of 29.03, I think you start running the sellers again at 29.20. So I wouldn't want to own this thing long.
Okay, all right. GE getting a little boost from that dividend hike on Friday. Sniffed the $17 level. Got turned back at $16.98, $16.84 close. Nice support all the way down from the weekly low up to Friday's low, 16.18 up to 16.36. But this thing is starting to look a little tired as well, Dennis.
Yeah. I've been playing it off that 17 level, and I've still got a trading position on it, so I'll limit my comments as well, but looking tired to me.
Okay. All right.
I feel like I got the entire Big Ten on here this morning, Joel. Lots of trades for me this morning.
Well, that's good, man. You're following the numbers, Dennis. That's what we want our traders to do. Okay, our final component, Coca-Cola. This stock just seems to be like the anti-market stock. Made a weekly high on Friday at 67.75. Peeled back to close at 67.57. Since we're trading 36 cents below that level, I'd use that as resistance to close up to Friday's high. Coming back on the downside, 66.92, which was Friday's low. If you can't get a bounce there, could test the 66.14 to 66.20 level, which was the lows from Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, Coca-Cola, $68. That's the big number on this. That's where you're going to find those high-frequency guys leaning on that 68 level. They'll be selling in the 67.90s. I always say, well, they're going to lean on, what institutional algorithm they can find. So, but if you can find those high-frequency guys, why not lean on them? So, they want to lean on us, we'll lean on them back. So basically, I'm a seller in the high 67s, probably in the 67.80s. If it was to rally up there, I would definitely be trying to sell it up there. Above 68, then I'd look to probably cover.
Okay, as we're closing out the first show here, SPUs are just hovering above this 1239 level. If we break that before we get back for our next show, look for a test of Friday's intraday low at 1232.75. We're going to take a quick break.